How many interviews you have lined up right now?
0.
This week, we asked the cast about their worst interview experiences.
The worst interview moment I feel like that I can remember, it was like a nonprofit organization for individuals with cancer, and I was like, well, let me just put a little perfume on. I get to the interview and I'm sitting there, and one of the ladies was like, excuse me, I have to leave. She was one of the people on the board, and as I'm walking out of the interview, the lady's like, I'm so sorry, the perfume smell was too much for me. I had to leave because I'm on chemo, and it was bad. It was very embarrassing, and I just was like, never again.
Oh man, I kind of won over the first interview process, and they had this conference where we were all sitting there learning, what the company was about. And I asked a couple questions on how to handle certain situations, and I didn't like the answers he gave me, so I challenged him on his answers, and it sounded like a company that I just did not believe in or wanted to work for.
And I went to interview for a teaching position, knowing good and well I wasn't fond of being around little kids. It really didn't go well because my passion wasn't there, my heart wasn't in it. And of course, I didn't get the job.
Next, we asked the cast members what being resilient means to them.
Never giving up and continuing to go after your passions, your purpose, your happiness, no matter what's around you and no matter how many people tell you to stop going. I grew up in a single parent household, so we didn't have a whole bunch of money, but I knew that I wanted to go away to college. It was just a moment in my life where I could have succumbed to my circumstances, but instead I said, no, I'm gonna rise above those circumstances and find a way no matter what. And I did find a way. I'm almost at the top of this hill and this journey, and it's not the time to give up or to shrink into a shell.
Dust yourself off and try it again. That's resilience. I think the feeling of success at the end of the day is worth striving for and going through a struggle. I've kind of had a different upbringing. It was hard for me, to really see the light at the end of the tunnel in a lot of situations in my childhood. But, it made me who I am today, and I kind of like myself, I guess.
Just having to dig within myself and just overcoming those obstacles and not wanting to give up. I want to see the results of me landing my dream job, and the only way I'll get to that is putting in the work.
I think at the core of resilience is hope and positive attitude. It's really easy to feel lost, but you have to be able to fight through that, trying anything to find your dream job, to keep that momentum going.
The way I've been resilient in my job search is by not giving up, by keeping faith that I will find the right career for me. It's important to be resilient in a job search. If you're not, you're going to grab at the first thing that comes along. With that resilience, you can pick and choose and look for the best job for you, really.
Now, the cast opens up about the challenge of getting job interviews.
How many interviews do you have lined up?
0.
That's okay. You just need to go back and get more first connection meetings lined up, and do not stop until you have 5 interviews.
It's so funny to me. I felt like I started with full speed ahead, in the beginning. Now it's everything has just slowed down.
You're just a caterpillar that went back into the cocoon for a minute to come out as a butterfly in a little bit. I think the key here is just have more of those connections, develop that foundation, because you already have your first foundation of just knowing people and hitting your over 500. Now the next foundation is getting as many first connections at the 2 companies that you want to work for.
I've gotten some connections already, and I sent those personalized messages. I've never heard a response back. They just accepted my invitation, that's all.
How many people have you sent that message to?
Maybe less than 10, maybe?
Our average is about 5% response. Okay. So you need to send 100 messages to get 5 responses.
The cast shares the progress they've had with their LinkedIn connections.
So I actually met with 2 people over the week, for Women Warriors Project, and they both went well.
Did you tell them that you were going to give them something?
The thing that I offered them was just any service that I could be available for. I said I'd let them know about my dissertation, and then I said, so if you need any information on on transitioning veterans, things like that, please feel free to reach out.
I want you to actually give them something. You went down the road of let me be of service to you. When we say to people, let me know if I can be of service, the person is now being given another assignment. So how are you today?
I'm doing well. I accomplished something major for me, which was speaking with one of my LinkedIn connections. And she really, went over her journey and gave me some wisdoms I can use for my career search. So
Wonderful. I'm so proud of you. Sometimes getting the first one done sets the stage for the rest that will be coming.
Yes.
Taylor, tell me about yourself. I want you to tell me about yourself right now. So we're in an interview. We're meeting for the first time.
Yeah. So just a little bit about me. I was born and raised in Orangeburg, South Carolina. It's not that far from the capital, Columbia. Went to school to USC. Majored in business admin and marketing and management. Some things you won't find on my resume. I love to do Zumba. I love to try different things in the kitchen, love to eat, love to travel, and just a thrill seeker at amusement parks.
You know what I didn't hear?
My experience?
Yeah. When you go into these business environments, get to business. You are leading like you're not working, like you're going to school, and you're taking Zumba classes in your free time.
Right.
You squandered this meeting because you sounded like a fangirl meeting somebody and you were not prepared. I want you to go back to our online course and I want you to watch the videos again that talk about the first meeting. It's not, hi, I'm Taylor and I'm out of a job and it's COVID time. And it is, I am the digital marketing associate for Value Graphics.
Tracy, the recruiter from Ripple Makers, got back in touch with me on Saturday. Can you call me? There's another opportunity I'd like to put you forward for. Because I maintained a good relationship with her. Salesforce, kept my resume. And Tracy, this recruiter from Ripple Maker, thought of me and came up with this opportunity for a post-production coordinator. Sunday, I had the phone call with her. She kind of quizzed me a little bit. And by the time I'd finished a 15-minute conversation with her, she was like, I'm sold. I think you can do the job. And, we'll see what happens. So,
Brian, I have a chill to the tip of my head. Awesome job.
It's important to follow up after an interview. A personalized card can have a lasting impact.
Close the interview with a follow-up, and that is an email. And Jeremy, I want you to send a card, a physical card that you put in the mail to your people at Hire Heroes. The reason why this is critical is you are now going to be on their radar one last time when they've received the card before they make the job offer. I would get a card that speaks to hired heroes.
Something like with the American flag on it.
Yeah, an American flag would be amazing. The LinkedIn is a menu. When you arrive at the interview, this is what they just ordered up. I want to order what's on the menu, and then you show up and you are that person. They're going to be like, wow, awesome marketing and branding. The thank you card needs to deliver on that. That's like the dessert. It is that last bite.
Unfortunately, Jeremy did not get the job he was hoping for.
So Jeremy, give me the news.
They said they chose somebody with more senior experience.
So the job that you interviewed for, you had 3 interviews with them. They were great interviews. You were the last of the candidates, and they went with somebody else.
Yeah.
And they said because they had more experience than you.
More senior leadership experience.
More senior leadership experience. I know that you're disappointed.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm really sorry, Jeremy. You worked
Happens.
super hard though, and you're so close. Sometimes we'll see these moments as being like, well, maybe I'm never going to find anything.
Especially after 10 years.
Yeah, I know that's such a long time. But you haven't had me in your corner for 10 years.
No, I have not.
And you haven't had Super Purposes in your corner. We've been in your corner now for 8 weeks, and we've made a lot of progress in 8 weeks.
We have.
And I want you to know that no matter what happens, we're going to be with you until you get that job that you deserve.
The cast reflects on what they learned about interviews this week.
I do view interviewers as kind of a domineering individual, someone that can be intimidating. So you always have to be like on, and that's heavy and stressful. Viewing them as intimidating and domineering and me trying to just people please them, it does affect the conversation because it doesn't come out natural like it should. I need to think of them more as just people that are just trying to find someone that fits. It's basically seeing them as a regular person, just understanding like who they are, seeing what characteristics we share to bring that humanistic, more natural feel whenever going into an interview.
Whether you break the barrier and make them more of a colleague rather than a superior is just like SJ says, you gotta promote dialogue really. It can't just be a question and answer for them, but you gotta provide a little bit of interaction. Make it a conversation rather than a interrogation, so to speak.
Initially, I saw interviewers as the bad cop role. Someone who's just there to interrogate me. Like SJ told me, no one wants to feel like they're higher above you when, looking to hire someone. So now I'm starting to see them as colleagues and, just people I will work with in the future possibly. After going through this program, it changed my perspective on how I view interviewers.
After weeks pass, Zach begins to miss meetings.
Where do I start? I don't know if you were reading my message or if you were getting what I was saying. But I was getting frustrated, Zach, because last week you rescheduled me 3 times. And then you told me to meet. I said, okay, let's take care of this LinkedIn mess. And what time is good for you? And you said Saturday, and you were specific about the time. And I showed up, and I waited around for half an hour. I feel like we have kept our side of the bargain, but I have not felt like that's been reciprocated.
Zach struggles with his commitment to career coaching.
Well, nothing personal. I'd quit a job and started a new job, and it's been one thing after another this week. And the rent being due, the 1st of May, I've been overwhelmed. And it was really hard for me to commit to certain times because I want to commit 168 hours a week to Super Purpose.
My takeaway from this is we're just having a timing issue. And the timing issue is your life has changed. This probably isn't the time for us to continue coaching. You want to get something better. I think that we would be working towards that, but it's just not the right time for you, Zach. So I think probably
It's not the right time for me to have coaching or look for a career. You feel like I'm
Okay.
wasting your time right now, but I feel like I've devoted 8 weeks of my life to something, a career, and I guess you're telling me that I'm not being punctual, or that it's not a right time for me to look for a career or to take your coaching. I mean, I'm incredibly grateful for this experience, and I've said it multiple times, but it sounds like you're giving up on me and telling me it's not the right time for me to look for a career, and that hurts a little bit.
I just don't know if we're the right match right now. Because I need the commitment of you showing up to the meetings. I need the commitment of us getting the video diary done when you say you're going to do it.
If you want to judge me on one of the worst weeks of my life, that's fine. If you want to tell me that it's not time for me to look for a career, that's a whole nother statement that cuts deep. So if you're willing to give up on me, I'm not going to argue with you, but I think this is a huge mistake.
But Zach, you have to.
I guess I just have to see how I feel about you telling me it's not time for me to look for a career. I guess what
That's Zach. Please
time
don't
now,
put,
never.
Zach, please don't put words in my mouth.
You said this is not the right time to take your coaching or to be looking for a career. This is not the right time.
I think this is not the right time for us to be working together. That's my sense. But
Okay.
if you're telling me I'm totally wrong and you're 100% committed, then I will go ahead all full
I'm glad
force
I'm
and give
recording.
you another
I want to
chance.
say that back because I know what you said. It's being recorded right now.
Okay.
You said it was not the right time for me to be looking for a career. I even repeated it back to you, and then you segued. But yeah, like I said, commitment is something I can show you. I'm not going to tell you about it.
Okay. So when are we going to meet? Because we are actually 2 weeks behind. So
What's your schedule like?
I'm always busy, but I will make time for you, Zach.